Well, good morning. I need to light my candles. Welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune. Well, my candles don't want to light very well this morning. It's June 6th, 2018. Well, you don't want to blow out your match on top of a candle because, you know. I can never find a blue pillar candle, so I have to use one I've made that's smaller. But I like to represent all of the elements when I do a tarot reading, so I like to have the 4 colors plus white for spirit. And that just sort of binds all of the energies together, the elemental energies together. I just ate pizza, so whether or not I can speak coherently is anybody's guess. We don't always have pizza for breakfast, but occasionally we do. So let's see. We'll shuffle a little bit more. Not sure what kind of a day it's going to be on the high desert today. It's supposed to be warm in Portland, like 80, which is muggy usually. Portland's a very wet place. The high desert isn't. We're all sage and, you know, lizards and things like that. Coyotes. It's nice to sit outside at night and watch the sky for various things that don't belong, you know. And so we can also hear the wild coyotes, the packs that are out there around, running around. We can hear them at night. As long as we don't hear a cougar or a mountain lion, I'm fine. We have chickens. We don't need them in there. My husband saw a skunk out by the apiary last night. We like to keep them away from the bees because they'll eat bees. They'll just stand there and they'll eat bees. It's weird. But they can devastate a hive. So we put all kinds of barriers up and stuff for the skunks so they can't get near them. Keep everything up high up off the ground. We stuck a couple of nuke boxes last night up in some trees up at the top of our property. We're hoping to catch swarms, and we use nuke boxes to do it, and we spray that lemongrass stuff on it. It's a swarm lure. So we're hoping. We've lured all the smaller hives we have around here down by the house. We've put lures in those, but I haven't gotten anything yet. So we thought we'd stick those up at the top of the property. We have 5 acres, so maybe we'll get a swarm. That would be lovely. Swarms are great. It's a sign of a healthy hive. It's not bees acting silly or being inappropriate or anything else. They're doing what they're supposed to do. When a hive is really healthy, a queen will be born and they'll just take it. I don't know if it's, I don't actually remember if it's the original queen that leaves with a half the hive or if it's the new one. I don't remember. But we had that happen twice last year, which was really cool. They're really docile. I mean, they're on the, sometimes they're on the ground, and so you have to be careful that they don't crawl up, you know, your pant leg and sting you, because they will, you know. But other than that, they're really docile. You can be up right next to the swarm and they don't bother you. They're all concerned with taking care of their queen. And so they huddle around her, and it's really probably the most incredible moment I've ever had as a beekeeper when we're dealing with swarms. It's just the coolest thing ever. So I highly recommend beekeeping, and if you're lucky, you can deal with swarms. So let's count 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, a court card, the Queen of Wands. Mine card of the court cards is the Queen of Swords, of course, because I'm a Libra, so I'm an air sign. But the Queen of Wands, any queen, is wonderful. The best, however, I will tell you, and I'll show you here. Let me pull out my Toph deck. I'll get out the big one, the big card, so you can really see it. Oh, and it's right here on the back side. Okay, this is my favorite card. Okay, Queen of Swords. You see, she's just had enough, hasn't she? She's got a sword in one hand and a severed head in the other, and I'm fine with that, really, really, absolutely. She's just awesome. Anyway, queens are great. But with wands, you know, you're looking at the fiery side of life. She's got a lot of will. She's passionate. She's generous. She's affectionate. She's considered a talented witch. You can see that she's got a sunflower as a scepter, and she's holding of course, what I call a staff versus that's her wand. I've never understood that. I'm a martial artist. I've never understood that. But anyway, she's in her golden robes, depicting royalty. She's honorable. She's successful. She's classy. She's charming. She looks to the future. So she doesn't seem stuck in anything. So when a court card shows up in a reading of any kind, you're talking either the qualities of that are contained within that type of a person, or you're talking about a strong individual, or in terms of a queen or a king, you're talking about a strong individual that may be coming into your life, or it's telling you to essentially become the queen in your life. It's not easy for women. And I know that this may sound cliche and all of that, but patriarchy has done us a disservice. And it's kept women and children in places they should not be. It has kept us from being able to stand in our own power and be heard. When we're the queen in our life, we don't tolerate that kind of stuff, you know. And no matter what the world does to us, we stand up and we just say, look, this is the boundary with me. This is as far as I'm going to go. This is as far as you're going to go with me. You know, we're seeing in the Me Too movement, about time, don't you think? You know, I don't want to, you know, harass men here, but sometimes they just need to get a clue and just shut up. Too much comes out of their mouths that shouldn't. Behavior, you know, putting their hands on women when they shouldn't. Having expectations of women when they shouldn't. When you're the queen, well, you're going to be the one to decide that. You're not going to allow this to happen. You know, you're going to stand there and you're going to look at the asshole and you're going to say, are you kidding me? You know, so be the queen in your life. And if you're a guy and you're seeing this, there are queens out there. Treat your women like queens. We're here for you. We're your partners. We're your mothers. We're your sisters. We're your wives. We're your friends. We're your queens. All right? Either that or you don't get to be our king. It's real simple. You know, this notion of equality. You know, if the body doesn't work in harmony, well, you have problems, don't you? Well, if we don't work in harmony in partnership with one another, with male and female, if the male and female within is not aligned, if the male and female without is not aligned, we have nothing but problems, don't we? It's why we have a president that will allow children to be separated from their mothers and fathers at the border. Okay? No respect. No respect for the family. No respect for any of that. You know, I don't know. So let's see what the rune has to say about this. The queens are vibrant. and they're honorable, and they get things done, maybe much to the chagrin of others. So yesterday we talked about the Norns and the runes associated with the Norns of fate. And here we have Nathis. We talked about that yesterday, about the friction, the inner will to get things done. And, you know, with our queen, this is perfect. You know, the queen possesses that inner friction, that inner fire to deal with life as it comes. She doesn't, she just doesn't let things get in the way of things that she needs to accomplish, basically. I mean, if it's ill-dignified, then, you know, maybe she's pushy or what have you, but to have the inner will to get going and to get things done, you know, it's not always easy to do that, is it? I mean, sometimes we just want to sit around and not accomplish anything, and we let others, you know, call the shots. Well, Nathis is basically telling you, call those shots in your own life. You know, have the inner desire to move, to make decisions, to, you know, not let other people decide for you what's going to happen. It's about, basically, this is about, as I will it, so mote it be. You know, the powers of the witch are to know, to will, to dare, and to keep silent. And to know is the air, okay? To will is the fire within. And to dare is water, to make change, and to keep your silence. It depends on how you see this. Some of it's to keep silence, keep your silence, keep your own counsel. Some of it is to keep silent, does not talk about the craft. I'm not one of those that doesn't talk about the craft. I think it's fine to talk about the craft. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, what's wrong with it, you know? You know, all that does is contribute to fear that's unnecessary. We're no one to be afraid of. So, you know, but basically this is about internal resistance, the internal fire, what shapes the world. Make sure I get it just right. There we go. So for today, it seems like what we're really talking about is the active principle. I didn't mean to smack my computer there and make it go, blah. We're talking about the active principle when you talk about the will. And when you have a rune and the card and the tarot card that are both aligned in the fire element, basically that's what we're talking about today, is how are we going to manifest our will? Are we going to do right by ourselves, do right by others, and take charge and make sure things go the way they should? Or are we going to just let that internal fire fizzle out and not respect that? So I guess for me, I have a little too much Mars energy in my astrological chart. And so I have to be real careful to let that Mars energy work for me instead of against me. So if anyone else has that sort of thing happening, you know, where maybe they want to, see, here's the thing, you know, if there's danger, I run to it. I don't know why. If we're in a hotel room and there's a knock on the door that shouldn't be happening, I'm at that door before my husband ever gets there. And I don't know why, but I do. It must be that extra Mars energy. I can't remember what planet I have or what sign Mars is in, but it tends to be just a little too expansive at times for my own good. So, but be the queen in your life. Respect that internal friction within. Make that work for you instead of against you. And you know, hopefully it'll be a great day. I'm going to go up to the top of the property and check the beehives and see if anybody's coming to call. What happens there is a scout will go out when they know, because what they'll do is they'll create these little supersedure or swarm cells or whatever. The two different kinds. There's some that appear on the bottom of the frame and some that appear up more within the frame. But when a queen's going to decide to be born and they're gonna draw another queen cell down and make another queen for the hive, they're gonna take off. And so what happens is the drones go out and they look around, and the hives that we have here down by the house, the little nukes that we have that are sprayed with the swarm lure. Now they've got bees all over them, likely our own bees, but you know, there's honey inside them. There's frames with honey in them. So you know, you're going to have bees are going to come in and rob that stuff. So we could be having that down here, but I'm really, really hopeful that if we see any activity up there, it's going to mean that we're going to get some more bees. Bees are expensive to buy every year. You know, to buy a package, it's like $130. If you buy a nuke, a package that's already an established nuke, it's even more. It's like 150. So if you have to replace your bees every year like we do, then that gets to be quite costly. So we're hoping that we can offset that with swarms. So I'm going to go up there and look and see what we've got, if we've got anything at all. June is swarm month, so hopefully, and then we won't, and maybe they'll live through the winter. So in any event, go be the queen in your life, love the queen in your life, stand in your own power, and don't take any crap from people. Blessed be. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.